Hey, what's up, Liron here. In this episode of Painting Masters, episode 72, we'll look at works by Marc Taro Holmes. This is an artist I've been exposed to in a long time, way before I even started my watercolor journey, because when I was just getting into urban sketching, I started gradually seeing more and more of his work, and it's just beautiful. It's actually the thing that one of the factors that initially attracted me to watercolor painting. The style is beautiful. There's a lot of subtlety and nuances and skill behind it that I think you'll really be able to enjoy and appreciate. So let's get to it. Okay, so we'll get started with some of his paintings. This one is gorgeous. I wanted to start with that because I really like the colors and what he did here. A lot of that sketchy look that really characterizes Marc's work. But there is such a nice level of finish to it, you know. It does look sketchy on the surface, but the composition is very interesting and the placement of everything works really well. The color harmony, a lot of different factors that can be felt and executed in a multitude of ways that aren't necessarily what I'm usually showing, okay, or the usual kind of impressionistic art. So that's something I really appreciated in seeing his art, and not to mention like how much I love that style. Now I wanted to show you some part of the painting process, just because it's fun to see what the reference looks like and then how it translates to a final result. So here we go. We have this, and again, this is a person who's oriented towards teaching, so you do get to see his work in action. It's very interesting to see. So I always love that kind of a thing. Chen Chung Wei also has quite a lot of these pictures of him painting outside, and the reference is just beautiful. So here it is, and I'm going to show you the final one, don't worry. Here we go. I'm not sure, though, if that's the final one, but it is at least a more advanced stage, it seems. You know what? I'm not even sure. Yeah, I think there are some things here. Well, whatever, but it is just a better view of the painting, and you get to see the drawing and how not as detailed as you would think necessarily, but really just putting the lines in there very directly and very boldly, which I like. I always like this very sketchy style, and to be honest with you, when there are fewer pencil lines, I even like it more at times, because it kind of forces the painter to use the paint as the drawing tool as well simultaneously, which is something I really appreciated. Seeing here's another beautiful one of this typewriter Ex Libris. I'm probably mispronouncing, but I don't know. It's just such a nice way of really conveying all of the details. You see these beautiful jagged edges here. A very nice technique, very direct, very bold, which I personally love. Again, and I want to show you something cool as a bonus. I have also another one of his. I believe he did this one as well in oil. So it's just fun seeing, you know, a view of the same subject, or very similar subject for that matter. Rendered in two different ways. This is probably a different one because you don't get this, wait a second, this edge here, that part that protrudes outside, you don't see it here, so it's probably a different one. But just really nice. Here's one of Degas. I believe that's Degas, him painting Degas. He painted a bunch of artists, yes, that's correct. And I don't know, I love the nuances here and all of the different shapes. Again, despite the sketchy look, if you actually look at it as a whole and maybe zoom out a bit, there are so many of the fundamentals that make a painting look good. There's this flow of watercolor. There's the values are pretty much there. The stylistic choice is different. So he's keeping it fairly light, I think, and not worrying about creating a mess with the washes, getting those cauliflowers. The approach is different, but it comes from a place of really understanding the medium. That's what I think when I look at it. I wanted to include this one as work in progress. I'm not sure if it's a part of his video. I believe it is. And I will put links down below to his website, his channel. I believe there is one again, which are very helpful. Again, he's someone who is oriented to teaching. Now, one of the things that one of the first few works of his is this picture as it is that I was exposed to, and I loved it. I loved seeing, okay, so I can actually combine my sketches with paint and have it very loose and free and kind of merged together. I wasn't even thinking about many things such as color temperature and saturation and composition and warms and cools. I wasn't even thinking about these things, but now when I look at it again, I recognize so many things that I really appreciate about watercolor in general. Again, back then I wasn't even paying attention to these beautiful cast shadows, the way it turns gradually from this gray to a more saturated mix of colors that really leads us in, creates a sense of depth, the amount of details that shifts as you move back in the painting. Just beautiful, beautiful. Here's another one. I used to love these splashes so much. I still do. It's just so cool. One more thing that if you've been following closely, you know I like is open borders for the paintings to not have a clear border in a way, and it's something I should do more because I do like seeing it, of how this bottom section is very open. It's very inviting. There isn't a hard stop there. It's just a paper white leading us into the scene, and which is another thing I appreciate, using the paper white. And one more thing is this right edge as well. Look at how the details kind of blend into the right hand side, and there isn't really a full clear stop there, which I really, really like. I really appreciate it. It's a very, very commonly characterizing urban sketches. So yeah, and you can tell the work has been done plein air, in urban sketching on the spot, because of its qualities and its boldness and directness. Here's another really nice one. European buildings, especially, I believe this is in Lisbon as well. Especially European architecture is one of the things I was really enjoying when I got started with doing this kind of a urban sketching style, or sketching style that has some pencil, maybe some pen, and then some watercolor as well. Here's another cool one, Sardines, or whatever that is, because it's called Sardinia, so maybe it's in Sardinia. But I like very different, I guess, subject matter, so this is something you don't see as often. If anything, you may see these paintings in restaurants. Sometimes in Italy I saw a few that were kind of that style of the food that is served in the restaurant. So yeah, very different one. Here's another one of the first ones, by the way, that pops up if you search for his work on Google Images. Very good, very indicative of everything I like about the style. Again, the openness, especially in the areas that are not the focal point. But if you look at the focal point itself, there is a punchy contrast, beautiful light and shadow patterns, beautiful details on the ripples. It's not really meant to, again, be photorealistic in any way, or even very realistic. Here's a nice one. I believe he's using ink, like water-soluble ink, so that he does a sketch and then he uses the water to move it around. I saw that he provides that tip for quicker, faster work. So that very well may have been created that way. Here's another one that I like. What's the name? Dumpling House. Yeah, I remember this one. Just look at the details here of this metal kind of kitchen tool, whether it's a pot or something like that. Look at the screws. You don't need much to really convey the message, and the clothes really hint that this is a setting of a kitchen setting. And if you look at this lovely little, I guess, awning, if it's like a street stand or something like that, look at the beautiful use of wet and wet to get a bit of a darker blue here, and to hint that we're seeing the people behind the curtain or behind the awning, but it's very opaque in a way, so you don't see much. These effects are really cool to be when you're able to create them and achieve them. And I will also say that it's something that really sometimes you just see it in the reference and you're like, how should I express that? And you just give it a try. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The bell and the bottle also look really, really cool. Here's another one I really like. Again, this is the type of things that I really enjoyed getting started. Colors a little more muted and subdued. I love these green-blue domes. Very common. I've seen a lot of these, actually. I don't know where that is, but I've seen quite a few of these. Very nice signature too. I like it. How he combines it with the entire sketch. Now, one more thing to pay attention to is the perspective, and everything is pretty on point. So a certain level of accuracy can really supercharge your work if you can get it to look accurate. Here's one. Where is this? This is Havana, I think. Yeah, I think Havana Necropolis. I don't know if it's actually in Cuba. But really, really nice one. Look at the negative shapes created by the dark foliage. And then to better balance this this part full of details, he goes a little looser and kind of one wash on the left end. Very open borders again. Just really, really nice. I wanted to share with you this cheat sheet, which I found really, really cool. T. Milkani, a watercolor sketching cheat sheet with just cool tips. You can go over to his website and download this one. I will share a link to that as well. So you get the clean pencil, and then showing the first wash that focuses a lot on the temperature and other fundamentals, and then the shapes come last. Tea, and finally milk. And here we have, this is foldable, so you can put it in your pocket, which is why it's upside down. I will flip it soon. Edge pulling, moving the edge with water. How to do the focal point and add more details, charging, high key scenes that pull focus to the darker sections with a beautiful analysis of the values, really nice. And then if we flip it around, there's this nice tip for painting and doing plein air, of working from the drawing. Spend half your time on drawing is what he suggests, then go with the first wash, let it dry, shadows and darks, with percentages of how much should take up, I guess, in terms of time, but also area covered. Just again, a recommendation. I like how it looks like a teapot. So really, really nice, good resources. I do recommend you check them out, and probably some of you are familiar with it. And let's end on this one. Alyssa, I don't know who that is, but I just love this in particular because of the colors. The colors here really do it for me, and it's a very nice balance. I love these golden hues and a bit of pink, obviously for the skin tones and for details and light and shadow, reflected light from the skin tones onto the clothes and vice versa. Very nice study. Again, zoom out a little. This looks so good. I really like that. And you know, I like the idea of blending the figure with the background by opening up the wash. So he's pulling from the figure itself onto the background, kind of like Udis does, Udis Correa, whose work I also have shown in Painting Masters. But really, really nice work. And this is the last one. I really hope you enjoyed it. So thank you so much once again for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out his blog, Citizen Sketcher, just a really, really good one. As you've seen, this cheat sheet is really cool. A bunch of really interesting resources, and it is an artist that's very oriented towards teaching and sharing their process. So that's always a nice little added bonus. I do want to thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know who else you want me to feature in the future. All of my ideas came from you. Leave a like. I really do appreciate it. Helps me reach more people. Thank you for that. And I will see you again in the next vid.